time.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
Get those nerds! 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 What? Clobberin!
Oh, Clobberin, indeed. Welcome, my friends. Greetings, Clobberinimos and Clobberoids and Clobberuskis, Clobberknockers, and all the other kinds of clobbers that we have out there, my friends. Good to see you. Welcome to another edition of Monday Night Moxie Comics Talk. It is Clobberin Times number 531 on YouTube. 1,231 overall since 19, but not since then. So 2009, yeah, but a little bit farther back. And another edition of just some random comics talk tonight about whatever comic stuff happens to come up, of course, all dedicated to our wonderful, dearly departed friend. It's coming upon that time where it's been 2 years now. And still doesn't seem real. 2 years since we lost our wonderful buddy, Mark C. And, we'll never forget him here. And, yeah. Last year around this time, we did a bit of a celebration of him. And we always want the show to be a celebration of him, so it always is. Like tonight, I didn't get anything planned or anything like that. Things were going on. But it's still a week or two away from the exact point. But so we're always thinking about him. And he's always with us. I always like to think he's out there telling me, hey, no, you got that wrong. You got that wrong. It was great. I miss him. 2 years, man. 2 years. Well, almost. It's close. Right up in the 2-year vicinity. So, just quick show notes. Of course, I finally gonna have another member stream coming up soon. But in the meantime, I have to still figure out the time for that. On Tuesdays and Thursday nights, as always, I'm a regular over there when I can be there. Of course, always proud and honored to be on Midnight's Edge After Dark with the great Tom Connors and that robust and august group for their show. I think it's 6 p.m. Central Standard Time each of those nights. Wednesday nights, and I guess it's going on this week as well. Never 100% sure, but at least two to three of the weeks of the month, we're on Loki's channel for the Comic Book Roundtable with the Great 24 and other friends. And I'm so looking forward to that. And of course, as always, the 4 shows I do every week, always at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, unless we have a special time here and there. Wednesday night, Wildcard Wednesday night, I'll be here. Thursday night, Raquel and Mark and I will be here for the clubhouse. And then, let's see, Friday night, I'll be over there with the great Nick Weiser, 8:30 p.m. with the Comic Shop Boys, the Friday night Comic Shop Boys. And then Saturday night, Star Trek. We will have review, of course, 4 more episodes of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, smack in the middle of season 5. What a great group we had this past Saturday night. I really enjoyed it, and I really, really appreciate all of you who hung out with us, or if you watched it later on a download, wherever it was. But what a great man, what a fun time it was the other night. What a wild time it was the other night. So appreciate you all. And now let's do some shout outs. I don't know who's here yet because I'm not looking directly at the chat. But what I like to do is shout out my my great wrenches. And of course, whether they're here or not, they get the shout out. The great Eric K, of course, the bronze wrencher and his cool puppy, Kirby. Chris Persia, the Vindicator Wrench of the North. Hey, buddy, thank you so much for what you do. The great D. Bud Martin, the Wrench of Iron. Security Chief, the great Lord Thoth. And shout out to his wonderful lady, Thoth. Avon lives and long live the Legion, buddy. Great, got that great start in the saga soon. He's got a puppy, too. Look at that little puppy, Lance. All the way from Earth B, my partner in crime on Earth B. By the way, there's going to be some Earth B in our future a week from tonight. I'll talk about that in a second. The great Wrench Without Fear, J-Man. The official artist, the Clobberin Times Master, the Claboni, and artist of the cover of Science Fiction Tales by the most wonderful R.M. Briggs. Kal-El Buddy, the Super Wrench, wielder of Reach Mjolnir, Maddie's Daddy, and of course, the Fanty Outsider, you old rascal. And whether they're here or not, they get the shout outs. And let's see who is with us in the chat. But before I do that, by the way, again, a week from tonight, I will have a double feature. J-Man and I will bring you another visit to Earth B at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, a special. Then, of course, later I'll come back and do this normal time slotted show at 9. But for our 6 p.m. special time slot, it'll be a double feature. You know, we'll have two shows that night, and we will be reviewing you. And I'll bring you more info on that once I got it all put together. But looking forward to that. J-Man, I always have such a great time hanging with the great J-Man. So let's see who's here with us tonight. In addition to the aforementioned J-Man, the Comic Relief Crusader. What's up, dude? How's it going? Good to see you. Dave J. Sound. Brian Hepburn. Hey, buddy. Good to see you, sir. Who else is up in here? Luis X. Sparrow. Hello, my dear. Good to see you. Thank you for being here, Luis. It's always lovely and a delight to see you. Thank you for stopping in. The great Michael Beacom. Just dropping in for a spell. Well, I'm glad you did, sir. And looks like I think I got everybody there. But as people come in, if they do, I will shout them out accordingly. So here it is, March. And it's green. It's green, as Scotty would say. March is green. So I don't expect too many people have answered this poll as of yet. Let me see if anybody has. 10 votes so far. Wow, Green Lantern Hal at the big lead there. Okay. Wow. Everybody's got a vote at least. That's a good thing. So we'll see how that pans out for the rest of the night. Gonna do a review. I love doing the reviews. It's about getting everybody together for them, you know. Getting someone who wants to do reviews. Fact is, I plan to be way ahead of the ball game with my reviews this year, and I'm already way behind it. Because one review didn't happen that was scheduled, that had to be pushed back, and we've only done one so far. In fact, in Superman month, I only had that one review. I've done like 2 reviews all month, maybe 2, all year. So I gotta catch up on my review game in March. So at least 2 or 3 of the next Mondays, and maybe even are going to be doing some comic book reviewing. Damn it. If I have to pick one at random to review, I will do it. But that's on me, by the way. I blame somebody else like this if I could, but I won't. Just kidding. I'm not a big blamer anyway, but I always blame me. Some people say I blame me too much. I don't know. I blame me just enough. And it is my damn fault. It's your damn fault. But what can you do? Yes, sir, Michael. Well, I understand what you're saying there, sir, but I'm gonna let's see. We're still gonna do that review of that Superman comic that got put off. I'm gonna talk to my friend about that. Thing is, you're imposing on someone's time. Say, hey, can you not only join me to hang out on my show for a couple hours? I'm sure you got nothing better to do. And then you got to you got to do homework, read a comic book, review it. I mean, no, it's not digging a ditch or anything, but unless you're me, I don't have a life. It's my show. I have to be here, but because I love doing this. But you hate to bug anybody. But there's so many comics I still want to review. The good thing is you'll never run out of source. The bad thing is I've got so many that I wrote down that I want to review, but I'm never going to get time to do them all. But we're going to do them. We're going to do them. Salty Traveling. See, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Enjoyed hanging out with you over there, our lovely friend Purple's member stream on Saturday, I believe it was. Good to see you, bud. I hope you're doing well. So, like I said, I try not to dwell on it being almost 2 years since we lost our great buddy Mark C, but I know that he and I had some. I mean, if he were still here, we would have had a lot of stuff reviewed already. So before the year ends, Maddie's daddy, if you're still hearing me out there, bro, we really got to review some Simonson Thor. It doesn't have to be the whole run. It can be the first saga or whatever, first story. But we need to get that done. In tribute to the great Mark C. Let's do that before this year runs out. I think he was here. I don't know if you're still hearing me, buddy, if you're still out there, but yeah, we need to do it, man. He would have wanted it reviewed. He would have wanted to be the one reviewing it, of course. But we must get that done. A couple of others that I've been talking about. Great Darkness Saga. LT's not here tonight, but LT is his busy man. I got to get him in here to review that. D-Bud and I are going to review an Iron Man one of these days, I hope. And you get to pick the issue, D-Bud. I'm leaving that one on you, brother. You get to pick the issue of Iron Man. And it is easier when it's a random issue as opposed to some. I mean, the Great Darkness Saga is a bunch of issues. It's going to take some doing. Just like I know J-Man and I kind of like to do the Dark Phoenix Saga with him. The bigger stories are a bit tougher to do. Hey, it can be a Tuska issue. I'm fine with a Tuska issue, buddy. I'm all fine with a Tuska issue, man. I mean, if it were a Frank Robbins Invaders, we may have to talk a little. No. Hey, man, look, dude, D-Bud, for you, I would review a Frank Robbins Invaders, pal. I would review a Don Heck later issue of his later run on Flash, not his late run on Flash, yeah. A Don Heck Flash, a later run, a Carmen Infantino later run on Flash, even. Mega Cropper, what's up? Mr. Nice. You mean the old TV show? Or that was Captain Nice, sorry. But Mega Cropper does say the words Mr. Nice. Okay. All right. We'll take it. We'll allow it, sir. Whatever it means, we will take it. You could elaborate, though, sir, if you would be so kind to elaborate that. I'll check it with Doc. Is Doc here tonight? Sorry, Steve. Marks. Okay. He says Marks. Well, Frank Robbins may well be better than many of the artists, current so-called artists of the day. I guess that's difficult to argue with D-Bud, but can we really absolve 70s Frank Robbins? Again, 70s Frank Robbins. Dave G. Sound says, Oh, yeah, Clobby. Would you review New BSG? No, sir. That's not a comic anyway. Although I know they've done comics. Mr. Nice is a Batman villain, isn't he? Not one I've ever heard of. I think maybe he is. I'm drawing a blank on Mr. Nice. And I can name you some very obscure Batman villains. Tin-Eyed Man. Polka Dot Man was obscure till James Gunn came along. Batman has some wacky villains. Signal Man. Doorstop Man. Just kidding. Kite Man. So it's a book, Clobby. It's okay. No, it's fair. Marx. It's a book. Okay, it's a book. Gotcha. I have seen a book or two in my time, I must admit, but still, I do like me some books. I got quite a few of them. I might have to learn to read someday. You never know. Now, yeah, I remember Captain Nice with William Daniels. I've seen that. Was that a Buck Henry show? With Don Adams singing the song? I don't know. Maybe not. So, but Deba, the thing about, your Frank Robbins, your George Tuska, and I've talked about this before. Oh no, I know what you're referring to there, Dave. I got you, man. Yes, I remember that rant very well. It was nutty. I hear you, buddy. I definitely appreciated where you were coming from. Back in the 70s, when I was a kid, 70s, when I was bitching about how crappy some of the art was in some of these comics. I didn't at that time. Well, I was a kid, teenager, early to late teens and that kind of stuff. Actually, even before that, buying comics. I didn't know anything about what was going on, like I do now because I'm a big comics history fanatic. I didn't know all the inner workings. I didn't know who these people were, anything about their lives, what their experiences were in terms of the writers, the artists, and the editors and all that kind of stuff. Something I'm big into now. Not many people are, but I am. But didn't know much of that before, but I love comics history. But so all I knew was I was looking at something like, yeah, look at this. Ugh, good God, this sucks. I talked about this before. I would, you pick up a comic with a Gil Kane cover. They knew what they were doing. A Kirby cover, a Gil Kane cover, a George Perez cover, or a Ramita cover, or a Buckler, what have you. The covers were usually always very exciting and nice. And then, what's inside? With Invaders, it was always Frank Robbins. It was. Let me just put it to you like this: without even naming names, at least 7 times out of 10, the interior art was inferior to the cover. The story was important too, of course. Appion, what's up? Good to see you. I've always wondered if I say that right, so please forgive me if I don't. Appion, am I saying that correctly? You could definitely correct me, though. I'm very correctable. But welcome. It is good to see you, my friend. So I don't know about you, but I still bought the comic anyway most of the time because, I had to have it. And again, they were smart marketers. They had these they always had these. They only let certain people do the covers. Thanks, Appion. Appreciate that. Michael Beacom says, comic covers versus inside art was my original experience with bait and switch. Now that you mention it, I tuned out of comics in the late 70s, partially because of that. Yeah, there was a lot of crappy art. Now, again, as D-Bud points out, compared to the crap they have now, Oh, I'm sorry. Chris almost missed that. Mr. Nice was an Earth 616 mercenary that worked for Arcade. Wow, that's obscure. Love it. I did. I remember Arcade, of course. But man, I'm glad. Man, let me tell you something. If you get with my chat, and I'm bragging about my chat now, I don't get the big gigantic chats that are the big guys get. Rightly so. I'm not one of the physically I am, but in real life, I mean, I'm not a big channel. Never will be, and it doesn't matter. But as far as knowledge goes, take any of those big channels that have maybe anywhere from 500 or 600 people, 2 or 3, 500 or 600 people, sometimes 1,500 people in the chat at any given time. If you get just 12 to 20 of my peeps in here, as you say, and I get more than 13. So right now we have 13 in here. Sometimes I get more than that. Sometimes I get a little bit, a good bit more. All it takes is about 13 or to 15 of. I'm bragging. I don't care if I'm bragging. Of the great people who come and hang out with me in this chat, and the knowledge is there. If I can't remember something, they'll know it. If one of them, we got each other's back on that kind of stuff, and the knowledge comes through because this is just a great group. They all know their stuff. All of you know your stuff. Well, now no one knows everything, but enough of us know enough to have it all covered. So Chris Persia says, no love for Clobby's favorite artist, McFarlane. Clever. Yeah, shin kicks for you. I'm not a big McFarlane guy. Loki. The only Clobby for you, he has a big channel compared to most, knows more about the comics. Nah, I don't know anything about comics, dude. You know me. I don't think I know anything. D-Bud says, nerds. So what are you trying to say here? Are you trying to say that we are just a bunch of...
Get those nerds! 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 What?
Good to see you, Loke. Are we doing a... What's it? Are we doing a round table this week? Let me know if we are. But just glad to see you popping in there, brother. Good to see that so many good friends are here tonight. But I hear you, Salty. Ain't bragging if it's true, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, but it's just a very knowledgeable group here. And Michael Beacom, you said, I'm kind of a heretic on my cool, Loki. Can't wait, man. I'm a bit of a heretic on my preferred artist for Spider-Man. Ditko is God when it comes to Spider-Man, but I'm kind of a John Romita, almost a junior like an idiot. I'm kind of a JRSR guy, John Romita Sr., Jazzy Johnny. But it's so close. Hey, Death Ray Amok, what's up, buddy? If you give me Ditko, Romita, or Gil Kane, I'm happy either way. It's tough to have a preferred one, but push come to shove, I go with Romita. Romita, the senior, naturally, the pappy. But it is tough because I love Gil Kane. I love Ross Andrew. Spidey's really tough with that. You went from Ditko to Romita to Kane to Ross Andrew. I mean, it's just that's a smooth ride for how long Spidey had great artists. Deathray says, anyone ever get those plastic packages of 3 Gold Key comics? Sometimes you never knew what the other comics were getting. Yeah, those were those. You go to sometimes like even truck stops had them, like Stuckey's and the TGMYs and all these other types of stores back when I was a kid. Yeah, there was a company called Whitman. Stuart Mitchell, what's up, buddy? Deathray, there was a company called Whitman that used to, and it was an outset of Western Publishing, who at the time had taken over Gold Key and stuff. They used to market comics, older comics that were been out for a little while. Before, it was not like a back issue market or anything like that. They would just put them in these bags and sell them in bundles at various places like truck stops and, not thrift stores, but whatever you want to. I don't know if you remember a store chain called TG&Y or Kmart, different things like that. So yeah, I used to get those. And that's why if you ever see an old comic with a Whitman logo instead of a DC logo, it's because it's a Whitman reprint. They changed the cover. Good to see you, Stuart Mitchell. But yeah, it was the bait and switch, like you said, Michael Beacom. It was definitely there. At that, back then, the editors knew exactly how to lure the reader in. And as a kid, I bitched about it, but I bought it. But like I was saying earlier, at that time I didn't know all I know now about what was going on in the comics industry behind the scenes, the inside baseball of it all. And it was a lot of these artists, and I feel bad about it retroactively. A lot of these artists that I used to really just trash, like, he's the worst. Now, I didn't write letters or anything that much like a lot of people did. But, at this point, early, mid, late 70s, and even a little bit into the 80s, some of these guys were really old. They've been working in comics since the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, with nothing to, no entire retirement plans or any kind of the benefits that people had in other jobs. They were busting their asses to get gigs all the time. And they were drawing, when these guys had drawn so much and produced so many comics, either in sweatshop form at the Iger Eisen Studios, just different types of, or any of the other big companies that all folded up in the 50s and 60s. They were scrambling to get work. And on the lesser titles, they were fast at least. So in the lesser titles that weren't the big sellers, these editors would usually put them on these comics, Marvel and DC. And they were also in competition for work, because in the early 70s, a whole bunch of artists from the Philippines and other countries, kind of flooded into the comic book market. And Marvel and DC started hiring a bunch of them for a lot cheaper than they were paying their normal stables of artists. So it was tough to get a gig, and it was tough to make money for these comic book artists in the 70s and 80s. They were treated like shit. And so, these were old men that couldn't draw anymore, but they didn't really have much of a choice. And now when I look at that art, I make fun of it. I go, oh God, it sucks. Well, that's like a 60-some-odd, 70-year-old guy. I mean, who could barely hold a pencil at that point in a lot of cases. Don Heck, Frank Robbins, Lee Elias. I mean, a lot of these guys, Jim Mooney, a lot of these guys, Kurt Schaffenberger. Yes, but you don't know that when you're a kid back then, of course. Didn't Whitman also do reprints of various DC comics? I had a few of those. Yes, they absolutely reprinted some DCs. Well, they didn't reprint DCs. They just repackaged them with their own logo, which I was always kind of fuzzy about whether they should be able to do that or not. In the UK, we had Leafield 3 for 1 bags at bookshops. Shutter. Matthew Pounder, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. I didn't have a lot of comics growing up, but I did have an Avengers comic where Loki and Scarlet Witch were the villains, and she mind-controlled Hawkeye. I can't remember the name of the issue, says Appion. I can't give you an issue number off the top of my head either. Too bad Phantom Outsider isn't here. He'll be able to figure it out. But give me a second. Maybe it'll come back to me. I mean, if you had an idea when it was, who drew it or anything like that, it would help me. But Eric K, what's up, buddy? Good to see you there, bro. Yeah. Let's see what the poll's doing now. How many? Okay, we got some votes going on there now. All right, let's see. The question was, which of these green heroes would you like for me to review? I'm going to choose for a random story review this month. Of course, being March, I went with green. It's green. Whoa, this poll is taking a weird turn. Man, I love doing these polls because they always surprise me. Earlier, it looked like it was going to be a landslide for Hal Jordan. I'm going to let the poll go for a while, of course, but It looked like it was going to be a landslide for the greatest Green Lantern in the universe, Hal Jordan. But now, in first place by a titter, is John Jones, the Martian Manhunter. And right behind him is the Incredible Hulk at 30%, with Manhunter at 35%, and at 26%, the greatest Green Lantern in the universe, Hal Jordan, is in there, and poor old Ollie Queen is way back at the back at 9%. So, wow. Alaric Harrison, what's up, buddy? So there you go. What a crazy race that is, man. I mean, wow. Hal got caught there. Alaric Harrison, you're right. It does sound like a West Coast Avengers now that you mention it. Could be on to something there. With my garbage memory, who knows? It's so jumbled up with crap. It could be anything. But I think Alaric might be on to something there. Might be a West Coast Avengers. I mean, it's not like that was they've met so many times. So wow, that poll surprises me, and I miss doing reviews. Like I said, a lot of the reviews that were promised for last year, I want to get them done this year. So I'm way behind the 8 ball on that. At least we're going to be consistent with the Bob Haney reviews, the Earth B stuff, though, because of the great J-Man. We've been really enjoying that one. I think we've got our next Bob Haney review selected. So, and that's going to be a week from tonight. And Earth B it is. Yes. I hear you, Appion. It's tough to remember those old comics. I mean, when you've read so many, they blend together. Unless you like, although again, my friend Carlos, who reviews comics with me, sometimes he's crazy that way. I've never seen anything like it. He can remember. I mean, he's getting old now, but at least it used to be. He could remember every damn comic he'd ever read. I mean, if he read it, and if the last time he read it was in 1994, he could tell you all about it. And with my memory just doesn't work that way. I could piece things together here and there, but if it's a comic I read once back in 1996 or 98 or 85, whatever it is, and I haven't read it since, I could probably muster up I think I remember that was about, it's weird how it works, because I'll go, like, if I see that, my gut reaction will be like, oh, that's a pretty cool comic. I remember that was a good one. And leave it kind of at that. There's in other words, the knowing that I enjoyed it is in there. If you were to say, really, what was it about? Hey, Claude Salling, welcome. If you were to say, what was that about? I'd be like, and sometimes I can't come up with much other than I remember I liked it, which is terrible. But I'm old, I guess. On the other hand, there are a few that I guess because I read them over and over and over again. D-Bud, that is a good point about John Jones. I want to address that one. But because maybe some just because I've read them over again, I don't know. But there are plenty of times I go, well, that was a great comic. I really liked it. But then if you push me too hard, what was it all about? I'd be like, well, I probably need to go back and reread it. It's been so long now that I mention it, man. I can't remember everything. Martian Manhunter. The thing about Martian Manhunter, though, that I put him on there because he's got green skin, because it's green. How many great individual stories has he even had? I mean, he's always with the Justice League. But he existed before the Justice League. You can find some old stories with him, of course. I'm not saying you can't find individual stories with John Jones. And I love John Jones. But which ones stand out? That's always been another fascinating topic that I'm going to get someone on to talk about one day that I haven't talked about in a while is there's some stories that you could, some characters you can identify, what is this character's best stories? And then there are other characters you go, what do you think this character's best stories were? You might go, now that you mention it, I don't know. Let's take Wonder Woman for an example. She's a good example because she's so powerful and she's so popular. She's an icon. I love Wonder Woman. And I'm not just talking about from the guy standpoint how gorgeous she is. I really do, adore her as a character. But when I think about it, if you to say, could you recommend me a great Wonder Woman story to read? I mean, I guess I could, but it would take some thought. It would take some, and I got to be honest. I mean, there's some okay ones, but I can't think of a lot of them that I personally think are just. Whereas opposed, if you ask me that about a Fantastic Four story or a Legion story or a Superman story or a Batman story or a Spider-Man story, I'll have all kinds of answers for you. We may not agree on it. You might think my choices aren't any good, but I'll have choices for you. Where there are some characters, if you say, "What's a good story with so and so?" I'm going to go, well, there was a and it's a character I really like, but I'm going, it's just weird that way. But that's just me. Maybe you don't have that problem. DC's The Demon always enjoyed big influence for Hellboy doing a new Hellboy movie. Are they okay? Yes, Death Ray. Of course, I love Kirby's Demon. Yes, Matthew Pounder. House of Mystery Martian Manhunters were silly but fun. Yep, there you go. So, I guess it's just me. So if you Mark D with a C, what's up, dude? Pop in if you feel like it, whenever. So it's funny, but if Martian Manhunter wins, that's going to be a task to figure out what would be a Martian Manhunter story to review. I don't know. I'm not sure I'll be able to find one. Again, he's in stories that are great because he was with the Justice League all the time. Wow, you know what? And I didn't even think of it. I just put him on there because he's green, and this is March, so you know. Weird lettuce, weird wild stuff. So I will have to think about it. But he does. But I agree with you, D. But Martian Manhunter doesn't get enough respect, doesn't get enough love. He's a great character. He's really handled well. I've been rewatching for the gazillionth time the Bruce Timm Justice League Unlimited series. I have a lot of criticisms of it, of course, but I still love it. And Sean Jones on there is really terrific. Really well handled. And so let me see how he's doing. I may be in trouble. If he wins, I'm going to have to try to. He's still got the lead, though. Oh, he's lost a little bit of his lead. We got to tie at second place. What an interesting race at 24 votes. Wow, this is going to go down. I'm going to let this one go down to the wire. That's some crazy stuff right there. Because, see, I didn't even think about it. I was going with green characters. I could come up with a Hulk story or 2 or 4. Green Arrow stories, no problem. Green Lantern stories, no problem. John Jones, I'm not saying, hey, vote for him if you want to vote for him. I'm saying it'll be an interesting challenge. How about that? Now, he's had his own series once, and I didn't really think much of it. It was a mini series, by the way. As far as I can remember, Martian Manhunter's had his own mini series at least once, maybe twice. I didn't think much of that one. That one that they did, it was like a prestige format. So and it hasn't, and other than his old House of Mystery stories, like I said before, in his early appearances, he hasn't had a lot of individual adventures. To speak of. I mean, so that's going to be interesting if he wins. He might not win. I mean, this race is crazy. It's going all over the place. The polls that I do always go like that. It's so much fun. I would do more polls if I could come up with more questions for him. You know, tonight being comics talk, I had to do a comics related one. Michael said, "Oh, greetings. If you have not taken a poll yet, vote Martian Manhunter." Claudia says, "Yes, get me in trouble with the Martian Manhunter there." It would have been a story with Zook in it. It would have to be a story with Zook in it. It's a fair cop. So, Death Ray, you're saying that let's see. I'm curious about the Hellboy, the Crooked Man movie. A smaller story for sure. Who is it going to be? The same guy in it, David Harbour or whatever. Oh, Matthew Pounder. I think there might have been. There's a good. I'll go look there. Because Detective 500 had some good stories in it. I think it did have one. I think you might be right, sir. But again, I will have to double check it. Yeah, it's true enough, Appian. He's always been a guy that hangs out with the Justice League. Yeah. Anyway, but like I said, it's funny how he's almost never been more well written, I think, than on that Justice League cartoon. Hey, what do you say there, Club? Lemon Pie. Hey there, and hello, Oliver Belamonte. Oliver Belamonte says, Clobby, DC will gamble an unusual Superman storyline where Lex Luthor surrenders his fortune and LexCorp to the Man of Steel, while Lex's assistant Mercy rebrands LexCorp to Supercorp. It will get now. I'm not sure what context you're speaking in there, Oliver. Are you saying that's going to be a comic or going to be in the movie that they're planning, maybe, or what are you saying? I mean, you said DC will gamble. So, storyline. I mean, are you referring to a comic or a movie? Let me know, man. I'm not exactly sure, but you never know. And DC, I don't know. They gamble a lot already. Of course, they're pretty foolish with the way they gamble a lot of times. So yeah. By the way, I'll take a moment to shout out my wonderful daughter, whose birthday is today. I'm old, folks. I am old. My daughter turned 36 today. But I love you. I know she's not listening, but I'm going to say it anyway out of the airwaves. I love you, love you. Yeah. Michael Beacom says, I checked the IMDb, and there apparently is another Hellboy project, but this time by Brian Taylor, the guy who did Crank. This has some possibilities. Taylor is not. He's not a Wokoso. Okay, gotcha. Lex or Lexor movie. Maybe they will go to Lexor. Yeah, there's who can predict what James Gunn is going to do with Superman, but it's tough to have a lot of optimism about it. It really is. I guess can he resist being himself and being so crazy with it? I don't see it. Thank you, Matthew Pounder. Wow, Michael, you got one that old too, huh? Well, my son turns 34 this month, so yeah, old. It's for DC Comics, says Oliver. Okay. Gotcha. I see what you mean. I don't buy any current DC. And I haven't for a long time. Oh my goodness. So we'll see about that. All right, let's see. Check the poll here. 30 votes in. Whoa, Martian Manhunter jumped back out again. What, dude? What are you doing? Holy skunk sweat. Donald M. Well, thank you for that, Donald. I appreciate you. I don't know if I've seen you here before, but welcome, Donald M. I appreciate you. Thank you. Man, it's March is a month full of birthdays for oh my God, my mom's birthday is tomorrow. I got to make a reminder. Like I'll forget that. Yeah, I'm terrified with my memory now that I got to make reminders for everything. You know what I mean? When I have what I now, or what I have for a while, I've called scary memory. And I don't take any chances with my memory now. That's why I've got that app. Thanks, Eric. I just, as we were speaking there, because I started getting scared about my memory, just as I did yesterday when I made the memory for my daughter's birthday, I just made the memory for my mom's birthday. I got a memory for my brother's birthday, which is a week from tomorrow, and then, oh God, nephew's birthday, son's birthday, friends' birthdays. March is just, what is it with the birthdays? For me, they got a lot of birthdays, at least, and mine's not even near March, but, yeah. Thank you, Appion. Appreciate that. And thanks again, Eric. I appreciate you. Oh, is it? It's the chat man, D Donald M. Okay, buddy. Good to see you, man. I hope you and the wife are doing well, buddy. All right. So I can't believe, man. Now I got to come up with a Martian Manhunter story. Where's Fanty when I need him? Fanty, Fanty outside he would be actually. I hope he's okay, by the way, because he's usually here, so maybe he's not feeling well. But Fanty's, this kind of guy would help with something like that. I'm glad that my favorite comics store also sells lots of tabletop gaming, because I haven't had any interesting comic in a long time outside of Hellboy and BPRD. I did not know you were a tabletop gamer there, Michael. Cool. Jack's Mama. Hey there. What's up, dear? A member of the family of our wonderful dear departed friend Mark C. as Jack's mom also. Yes, everyone, this is something I was talking about at the beginning of the show, Jack's mama. She says, hello, Friday makes 2 years. Thank you all for honoring Mark and for your care for Jack and all. God bless. And thank you. No, God bless you as well, Jack's mama. We love you. And again, I was just talking about this when we opened up the show tonight, because I didn't realize it was this Friday. I wasn't the exact date. I was always never perfectly clear on. But this is I was talking about, Mark. I always talk about him, but I was talking about that. I didn't realize it was that close. So 2 years. Like I said at the beginning of the show, 2 years, folks. I just can't believe it that it's been that long now. And last year at this time, of course, or at the time, we had a show talking about him that we dedicated to him, and some of his good buddies showed up and talked about him. I think we were very honored to have our great buddy Doomcock came on with us and talked about it, and we really appreciated that. And I had Raquel on with me and stuff. And hey, Dave, good to see you, Dave. And it's just wow. But Jack's mama, we love you, and God bless you as well. And no one will ever forget him here. His memory lives on always, and I know that's doubly so, obviously, for the family, but also here his friends. His friends who miss him as well. And we talk about, as you know, how much he loved comics. And so anytime we talk about him, I could always just hear what he might think on a certain subject, whatever I'm talking about. I'll go, yep, I bet Mark would have thought this, or Mark would have thought that about that, or I'd like to. And sometimes I go, I miss him because I'd like to see what his take on this was. So he will always be remembered. So, wow, 2 years. And then he would probably smack me across the head for making this poll because I'm getting myself. Whereas I got to find out a way to. Oh man, 42 now. You out of 31 votes, you guys are conspiring against me. Wow, Martian Manhunter. I didn't know he was that popular. It's funny. He's never had his own ongoing title. I mean, I love the guy. I put him on there because he was green and I couldn't think of anyone else. He's beating 3 of the most established characters. 2 are like the biggest. Amazing. Absolutely, Michael Beacom. Yeah, you knew of him, though, I'm sure. So, like I said, you'd see him in the chats and stuff. Absolutely. So, what is it, man? Who are you all? Tell me who, those of you who have voted for, and I think it's hilarious, by the way, I love it. But tell me, of those of you who voted for Martian Manhunter, if you could tell me why you voted for him. I'm curious because I love him. Don't get me wrong, but it's fascinating because the Hulk's on there. He's had how many bazillion? He's had his own title since 1962. Or 61, 62, 63, whatever, 62, I think. So he's been around for like 60 years and had his own title forever. Green Lantern has been around longer than that. I mean, the Hal Jordan Green Lantern, even way longer. And so he's had thousands of comics with his name on it in his title, anyway, you know what I mean? And Green Arrow has been around forever too, and has had hasn't had as many comics as the other 2, but he's had many of his comics, his own series, many times. The 3 of them, arguably, are each one of them infinitely more popular and well known than John Jones, the Martian Manhunter. And yet, with 31 votes. Right now, the question was, which of these green heroes would you like for me to choose for a random story review this month? In other words, to pick a comic out of random, but just a short story or whatever, to review of them. And at a whopping 42%, in first place, Martian Manhunter. This is John Jones. And in second place, the Hulk at 29. He's all the way back at 29%. That's a 13-point gap. And then in third place is Hal Jordan. The character's been around longer than both of them. And then poor old Green Arrow back at 6%. Nothing wrong with that. And by the way, I find it amusing. And I would like to get your thoughts on that if you have any to share. I will star them. Jack's Momo says, thank you, Michael and all. Jack does lurk here at times, and I know he appreciates y'all also. We appreciate Jack, and thank you so much for that. And say hi to Jack for us, Jack's Momo, and I hope he's doing well. I'd love to hear about how he's been and how it's going and everything. Let's see here. Let's see. I like seeing the reasons here. Okay. Let's see. Michael says the Hulk has been talked about. Ditto, Hal Jordan, and Martian Manhunter, not so much. Yeah. The thing is, this is going to be just review a story with him. But I hear you. You don't see him much, so that's a good point. It's going to be tough to find a story, but it's going to happen because he's going to win. Looks like. Thank you, Michael. D-Bud says, I voted for MM because I've only see stuff on the other 3. He's just more rare, so it'll be more interesting to see a review of him. That's a good point. I like the insights here, the reasons you guys are doing that. Appion said, I voted for the Hulk. Well, Hulk won't smash you for that one, will he? And because I don't know that much about him specifically, says Brian Hepburn. Okay, that works. Maybe we've eaten too many Oreo cookies. That's also because, he does like him some Oreo cookies, that Martian Manhunter. Well, you know what? That could be it, bud. That could just be the answer, Matthew. So, yeah, Martian Manhunter does love some Oreo cookies. Let's take a look at old Martian Manhunter. How about we look at some Pikachus of him? He's been so ruined by modern drivel these days. I'm guessing. I could be wrong. That should mean that. All right. Let's take a look here. Oh man, so many crappy versions of him. Yeah. I love him though. I mean, I've always loved the character. It's national. There's no such thing as a national Oreo cookie today. Today, is it? National cookie. I know you're kidding, but still. I wouldn't put it past them there to be an actual national Oreo cookie day. But I know you're joking about that. You got me. John Jones. Yeah, sometimes they make him look ridiculous. Phil Morris did a great job as his voice, though, on the cartoon. So. Oh, are you, dude, really? National? Oh, my God. And me without any Oreo cookies. It's unheard of. How dare you, sir? Why didn't you tell me this yesterday so I could go get me some Oreo cookies to have them on the show tonight? Oh, Martian Manhunter is one of the most powerful DC heroes, and yet he has powers that rival Superman, but DC writers seem to sideline him in a lot of superhero storytelling. True enough. They don't think they really know what to do with him. I don't think anyone knows what to do with him, really. So who are these guys that declare National Oreo Cookie? Yeah, what the hell was that all about? Jack's Mama, I know it is. I know that so well, my dear. I know it's just not. It's never gonna. I mean, I don't. It's always going to be tough. 2 years in, and it's just, what do you do for something like that? Not much can be said, unfortunately. D-Bud says, I can't remember the last time I ate an Oreo cookie. Well, I can remember when I did. Just I did have some a couple of weeks ago. They have like mega stuff now. They have one bigger than supposedly. Well, I call foul, and I shouldn't be eating that crap. I'm just saying, I was being bad, and they've got double stuff Oreos, of course. Everybody, they make because who with double stuff? Why would you ever get the smaller ones? But they have mega stuff now, and it's supposed to be bigger than the double stuff ones, but I call BS. They're not really. It was created this date in 1912, meaning Oreos. Really, that old, huh? Oreo cookies. The question is, does everyone eat Oreo cookies the same? I mean, the fact that there's an actual way you have to eat them is weird. Any other cookie, you just eat the damn cookie. But of course, there are 3 components to it, or really 2. Well, 3 actually. Does everyone do it the same way? Like unscrew it, eat the icing crap in the middle, then eat the cookies? Yeah, I don't know. In fact, have you ever seen anyone eat an Oreo cookie like you do a normal cookie? Just chomp it in the middle and eat it like it's all together. Does anyone do that? That's the next poll, folks. How do you eat your Oreo cookies? Now we all know Martian Manhunter eats them like he just chomps them. He does. I don't think they should have made him like him doing that the way everybody else does. Yes, Michael. Meaning you do eat them like a normal cookie, or do you unscrew the thing and eat the complicated way? Okay, so D-Bud only ate them the normal way, which is the normal way. I think the normal way is you unscrew it, you take off, you eat off the whatchamacallit stuff in the middle, and then you eat the cookies. The rest. Happy eats them whole. There you go. Icing or stuff. I guess it's stuff. Stuff works. You can call it stuff. My parents would buy Hydrox cookies instead because they both worked at Sunshine Food. Okay. Yeah, I remember Hydrox. Dip them in milk. Okay. Not going to break them, says Happy. Hey, Indie Comics. Indie Key Comics. Hello there. Welcome. Good to see you. He said, I take 45 Oreo cookies and I just drown them in a bowl of milk and eat them when they assemble my crunchy seismology. So you make cereal out of it, what you basically say. That's interesting. I guess that works as cereal. Huh. Hey there, Michelle O'Rourke Johansson. Hello there, dear. Good to see you. Welcome. Michael says, I ate them like a normal cookie because if I'm eating one at all, I am sneaking it, so no time to play with, or Cassandra will catch me. Fair enough. Yeah, you got to be quick. You married guys have to worry about that sort of thing. I get you. You married guys got to watch what you eat. Us non-married guys can eat ourselves to boom, to you know what. Anyway, so yeah, Martian Manhunter is a great underused character. And now he's about to win something for the first time in his life. Who'd have thunk it? I think I have this figure. No, I have a crappier figure of him. I don't have this Mego figure. I wish I did. I think I have this dumb young. What is it? Oh, yeah. I have this one. No, that's Superpowers. I have a knockoff Mego of him. That's not him. So let's see, what's that? Indie Key Comics. So I was using voice text, so I take 4 to 5 of them, dump them in a bowl, and drown them in milk. And when they're they're a little bit not so crunchy, that's when I start to eat them. So yeah, basically, yeah, cereal. Interesting concept. Can't look down on that at all. Well, Oliver Belamonte says, Martian Manhunter number 24 cover shows Martian Manhunter sitting down with a glass of milk as the side rack Oreo cookies are behind him. There you go. Gotcha. Okay, Michael Bacon, be good, buddy. Take care. Be seeing you, sir. Be seeing you. Loki says, open mind first. Eat the bear cookie. Repeat it, then mush the two fillings together and eat the rest. Sometimes, yeah, I've done that a lot. Sometimes I will. It's tricky to get the cookie part off, but if I'm able to manage it, I'll do it with and these are double stuff, mega stuff thingies. I'll unscrew the top one side of about 3 or 4 of them at a time, and then put them all on one stack. Make it like a stack of 4 double stuffs high, and and then just eat nothing but the damn stuff part. Nothing like 4 layers of it, and then eat. I've done that. That's how insane I am. Which is why I had to stop. I have to stop buying Oreos because they don't last. I can't make Oreos last long. Obviously, is that the one now? I can't find that Martian Manhunter figure that I have. Huh? That might be one of the ones I have. Carte blanche whenever you feel like it, MD. But if you're not feeling like it, don't worry about it, bro. Hey, Apollome's minions here. Are you here, Apollome? Oh my goodness. Hey, Apollome. Good to see you, my dear. And of course, hello to the pepperoni. I hope you are out there and being safe, my dear. Yeah. So let me see here. Martian Manhunter. It's gonna be tough to find that comic. Let me see how the poll's doing. Wow, man, it's maintaining. My goodness. But I think that's cool. No, don't get me wrong. I think it's cool. Well, let's see, Martian Manhunter. Oh, hang on a second here. All right. Oh. All right. Oh, I wonder how many. Let's see. That's volume 1. I remember this one. Huh. Wow. It's going to be tough to find one, but we're going to do it. From 1998. I didn't like the art in this one too much. Oh, what's up, dude? Hey,
how's it going?
All right.
Sorry with Oreo diversion, but you know me, I'm always causing trouble.
No, you and the food, man. Yes, no, it was fun actually. Just Joe, and it is pertinent to comics because it's Martian Manhunter eats Oreos. Just Joe, what's up, Jobber? Good to see you there, buddy. He said either dump the Oreo in the milk for 1 minute until it gets really soggy, or eat them, or eat the cream first, and then the cookie parts. Well, good to see you there, Jobber. And yes. What about you? Do you do anything special?
Oh, I love Oreos. Well, I mean, you know, back in the day when we had to rough it, you didn't have double stuffed Oreos, so you kids, youngins, didn't have it lucky. So we had to actually, you know, make our own double stuffs. Now you're talking about, they have the what are they called? The jumbo ones or the
mega stuff is not that I call BS on it.
Yeah,
I've gotten them. They're no different.
No different. They're the same, almost the same as double stuff. Yeah, but if you take 2 double stuffs and put them together, that's pretty darn good too.
I do 4 sometimes.
4 sometimes.
Idiotic.
Do they sell just the vanilla filling separate?
They may as well, huh?
Oreos are so addictive. I mean, you ever do that where you like, you know, eat the whole damn slip? You know, I'm just gonna have 2, and then I'll have another couple, and then another couple. It's the whole bag goes. Yeah, they're addictive. Yeah, damn you Oreos. They're good though.
Oh yes, indeed. You know, I can't remember how many, if there have been any other Martian Manhunter series other than this one from '88 that I remember. Man, I think there was another one, but I don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah, because I was, I've been listening, and I don't remember any major, like you said, you could name me like a Batman, Superman, X, any of the big characters. It's easy to name a, Spider-Man, boom, name a famous story. But Martian Manhunter, I've always seen a supporting character. Always seemed to be a supporting character that you really like, but don't remember a definitive story.
No, it's a conundrum, really.
Unless someone can name one that we're forgetting. I mean,
series name. Martian Manhunter. I'm gonna try this. If I can't find it here, it's nowhere. That's the good old GCD. Even my name's in here. Even my name is in this thing, so that it's got to be.
I just goggled the greatest Martian Manhunter stories ever told.
There's no such book.
Well, there's an article, but yeah, Martin Martian. I have no idea if he's any good.
Okay, yeah, he
Martian
did have a series in the late '90s. But go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, so yeah, American Secrets numbers 1 to 3, DC New Frontier 1 through 6, Martian Manhunter 1,000,000, The Abyss of Time.
And then it started a series that lasted for a while. Go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, Martian Manhunter number 17, Hidden Faces, Final Crisis Requiem, JLA 84 to 89, Trial by Fire, JLA Secret Files and Origins number 1, A Day in the Life. Now, I mean, I don't know if those stories don't jog a memory, but I don't know if anyone recognizes those.
No, I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry you're having a bad day there, Apollo. Me, my goodness. Oh my goodness, dear, that's terrible. That's right. Thank you, Mackie Pounder. That's right. That was a good man. Thank you. Now, man, you got me off the hook. I got to go back and read that one now. I've got that. Oh crap! Thank you, Mackie Pounder. Well done. Well done, Captain Matthew Pounder. Appreciate it. Oliver says Justice League number 38 through 40 by Giffen and DeMatteis was a good read for me. The cover was Martian Manhunter taking on Despero. I'll look into it. I have a lot of problems with Keith Giffen, but still, they've done some good stuff together. So, I think that's Justice League. Yeah, I know what series you're talking about. Well, there you go. That might be a good one to look into too, right? Know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's one of the covers that came up in this article, or one of the issues in that issue. Yep, 38 to 40. Yep.
Okay, there you go. So yeah, he had his own title for about 30-something issues, 34, 40-something issues, and I just never bought. I wasn't buying the comic at the time, and but at least there's something. But still, compared to these other guys, I mean, he has, who's writing this book at this point? Oh, John Ostrander. He was good sometimes. So, I'm going to have to check that series out. The art, I'm not too sanguine about these covers. So, what was that story? The story you were talking about?
I can flip through the article if you want. It's got the covers.
No, you don't have to do that. You can just tell me on the issue.
Yeah, it's the same one. Yeah, no, it's the same one as just mentioned. So yeah, Martian Manhunter. It says Justice League America 38 to 40, Justice League versus Despero.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the cover here. It looks like an 80s issue or 70s to maybe. Looks like it's an older comic, and some of these are newer ones. Yeah.
Well, the one he's mentioning, Giffen DeMatteis, it wouldn't be 30 and 40. That would be from the 60s. You might be thinking of the later title.
Yeah, it looks like it's Justice League America.
Justice League International? Or Justice League America from the 90s?
America.
From the 90s.
80s or 90s, yeah.
Okay.
So, and then...
when it was called JLA, wasn't it?
Let's see what's on the cover. It just says, no, it says Justice League America on the cover,
okay.
Yep. Blue Beetle and Booster Gold are in the box there. Title box, yeah.
Gotcha.
And the other issue that looks interesting was the last issue of his run. So let's see, which number was that they're referencing here is a good story.
Wow.
Like a day in a life story. Yeah, In My Life, Part 1. It's Martian Manhunter 33 to 36. Final storyline in his ongoing series. John Ostrander, like you just mentioned that, yep.
Yeah. Wow, well, he's kicking some arse, I'll tell you that.
Yep. It was a powerful character too, right? I mean, his power level is pretty epic. So,
yeah. Well, might just get he's going to win this, and so we'll have to review this. Is interesting. I love the challenge. I love the challenge.
Yep.
So there's so many different Justice League titles. It's going to be tough to find that sucker on the whatever volume that is.
I think I'll try. Let me try to find it. You got it.
I think. Yeah. Let's see. What issue was it? 30 what?
38 to 40.
Okay.
Yeah, because like you said, yeah, there's a million Justice League. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Okay, I see it. It's got
Got it.
Yeah, if it's the one I'm thinking of, it's got a. You got a picture of the cover?
Yep.
Let me see.
Yeah, I can I'll share the cover. Yep.
Because I have it. I think I found it. Okay, that's 39. I got 38. Let's see. I'm looking at 38. Sorry, let me go to 39.
Okay.
I think I said it was 38. Yeah, there you go.
It starts at 38. Yeah, it starts at 38. Yep.
Oh, it does. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yep. 38 to 40.
And that was a recommended story.
One of the recommended stories. Yep.
We'll see about that. So, yeah. Because he's going to win this contest.
Yeah. That could be a good
Damn,
one to
he's
do.
Kipping, man. He's beating the Hulk and GL and Green Arrow, man. That's pretty dang good.
Yep. So the other one, now that I got to flip through this, is Martian Manhunter 20 to 24 Revelations. It looks like a newer book to me. It's $2. Yep.
Is that modern-y? Not too modern, no.
Not too much.
That's like 90s and early 2000s.
90s, you think?
Like
yeah.
That. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. So they're picking that one. In My Life, that's the end of his series. 33 to 36.
Yeah, that's in like late 90s, early 2000s or somewhere up there. Yep. This is still before the cartoon, I think. Now that one I remember. You might want to get that. You might want to not put that name on there too long. New Frontier, because the writer of you don't want to.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'll tell you what he is later.
Yep.
Pedro.
Yep.
Oh, there's 2000.
I don't know. Yeah, you remember those 1 million
like
books?
1 million books. Ugh. I didn't buy any of that crap. I looked at it, flipped through it, like, what in the hell?
Number 17. I guess it's all from the Ostrander run. Yep. And your favorite.
This was boy. Let me tell you. Did anyone out there read Final Crisis but me? Oh, and if you did, did you keep your sanity? Did you ever read Final Crisis? It is freaking bad, man. I don't know who put that on there. Well, wait. That's a crossover though.
Crossover.
Peter Tomasi. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Peter Tomasi's a good. I was thinking of the Morrison crap. Requiem. Well, I don't think. Maybe I didn't buy that one because I got the Morrison ones, and they were poopy doo. JLA. Wow. Someone's done a deep dive on Tiki of Doom. Hey there. Tiki of Doom says, Final Crisis gave me a headache. I'm right there with you. Absolutely right there with you. Hey. Largo's Lair. Hey there. Final Crisis was a stinker indeed, sir. I mean, this one here must have been a different. That's like an offset of it, but the Morrison one, Final Crisis. I remember when I read the first issue of that, and I don't want to use the word remember, but I know I remember the time. My reaction is after I got to the end of it, I was like, "What did I just read?" It's like it was so weird. It was like every page, devolved. Every page, like dissolved from my mind after I would turn it. Go, did something just happen on there? More like, we've all read bad comics. We've all seen bad movies. There's something unbelievably spectacularly stupid about this comic that I couldn't quite put my finger on how crazy it was. But I thought, that's just me. I'm just tired. Something wrong with me. I go back to the comic shop the next day or whatever. And I said, can you believe that? What a piece of garbage that was. Everyone was going crazy on how bad it was. I really did. Look, I'm not kidding. I thought, it's just me. Something's wrong with me. I'll reread it tomorrow.
Well, sometimes you wonder too when you don't like something, or I'm hearing like everyone didn't like the new Mandalorian. Not to get into this Mandalorian, but I didn't think the first episode was that bad, and then people were killing it, which is fine too, I guess. I didn't think it was particularly good or bad. Yeah. yeah, I was kind of in between, but not I don't want to get into that one too much. But
No, but
and then sometimes people
I know
love
what you mean.
something, or especially with friends, like how could you not like that? It was so good,
And then there's another thing that's a stinker right now that everyone's liking. So that we won't get into here either, because although we could,
it's
but
comic
this is
book
comic
night.
shop. That's comic book
Yeah.
night.
See,
We got to stay
I'm
on
putting
comics.
the law down.
And Oreos are relevant to comic books. I want to say again, Oreos are relevant to comic books because of John Jones.
Yeah.
Just saying. So that's an interesting article that you found. I'll probably use it for reference.
Yeah, because it's tough to there's no classic that I can think of off if you ask people at a comic book convention, hey, name a famous Martian Manhunter story, unless that's your guy, Martian. Your real character. Yeah, my favorite Martian. Yeah,
a good one.
Yeah, I mean it's a great character. I really like the character, but yeah.
Yeah, he's great. I love him, but like I say, you don't really stand out. I mean, it was still heartbreaking for me when Martian Manhunter was brutally murdered at the hands of a Darkseid's minion Libra, along with the other supervillain in Final Crisis Requiem.
There it is.
Okay, yeah. Well, that was Peter Tomasi. He's a good writer, so maybe that issue was fine. But the regular.
Well, this is the tribute. This is the tribute to him, I guess, after his death in Final Crisis.
Okay, so it's not Final Crisis itself.
I guess it's just the record.
Which did have red covers.
Yeah, it's a tie-in. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, weird. So you gotta buy everything, right? Yep.
Right. Yeah, see that Brian Hepburn. Yeah, there's the thing. People are complaining about the new first episode of Mandalorian season 3. I'm like Mark. I was kind of like, yeah, I didn't care much for it or didn't dislike it either. Thought it was fine one way, but I'm going. You know what? I guess it just didn't seem all that bad to me because I'd sat through Obi-Wan garbage, Obi-Wan Jabloni, Obi-Wan Kenobi garbage, and then a Boba Fett garbage, and then that boring Andor drivel. I mean, it's like this just doesn't. It just doesn't really seem all that bad compared to that stuff.
Yeah, plus it's it's what you're looking for too. I mean, I'm not looking for, I'm looking for fun. I shouldn't say mindless entertainment, but just an enjoyable space fantasy versus hard sci-fi. Now at this point, so yeah, I guess your standards get lowered too, unfortunately these days, which is not good either. So,
yep. Well. What can you do anyway? So let me see how he's doing. I think I'm going to keep the poll up here, but I think it's over. Oh, this is a blowout. This is like fourth quarter, and they're up like 55-10.
Maybe we can put Tom Brady in.
Yeah, let's see. Maybe because it's got an 18-point lead on the Hulk.
Or better
yet, went down and then go back up. There you go. That might work. Look at that though. That's crazy. I said that's 38 votes. We'll see if anyone else votes on it. We'll keep it up there for a while, but I don't think he's gonna. I think he's gonna hold that lead.
Wow. I thought the Hulk was gonna win.
All the polls have not reported in yet, folks, but it looks like they're conceding this one. It looks like sure that it seems to me that the other candidates, the Hulk, has now decided to come to the podium to concede defeat to the Martian Manhunter. Hulk smash anyone who didn't vote for him. The calm down, Hulk. Yeah, don't bring Tom Brady back. If I have to look at him anymore.
Now I saw an article today. He might not he might not retire again. Yeah. Oh yeah. That wasn't just the. Oh, it's comic book night, but yeah. I hope I didn't.
No,
that wasn't.
Yeah, don't get us too much.
So it wasn't my imagination. Okay.
Agreed, Joe. It's possible. Yeah. He works best as the heart of the Justice League. Yes. Like I said earlier, I've been rewatching for the 10 billionth time the Justice League cartoon from the Bruce Timm, Paul Dini.
Yeah.
Justice League International. It goes by so quick. I'm already into the Justice League in limited episodes, and he is really great on there. Now, I may be wrong. It may have been happened before that, but I don't remember him before that cartoon having the intangibility powers of the Vision. I'm not
So you
saying he
think they
didn't.
added? You think they added that? That was added later.
Well, I'm not saying they didn't, but I just don't remember it. But then my memory's garbage. So maybe just it's one of those things where I got it all backwards. But it seems to me that that was the first time they did it, but who knows? Because I mean, I just don't remember him having that ability in the older comics before that.
Yeah.
Unless it happened. Now, it may have happened not in the Silver or Bronze Age, but maybe it happened later in the 90s when I dumped out for a while, which is possible. But if not, it could have been just Paul Dini, and it could have been just Bruce Timm. Because and I love, I love Batman animated series. You know that even though I have a lot of problems with Superman animated series, but still like it, and I love Justice League, even though there are things they did that aggravated me on that show. But one thing is that Bruce Timm was always very upfront that he was more of a Marvel guy than DC. I mean, he would if you'd have given him a chance to do an Avengers show or something like that over a Batman animated series or something like that, he probably would have done so. Although he hates Thor, that's another thing. He hates Thor. I don't get it. He hates Thor. But
how could you hate Thor? God.
Bruce Timm does love the Avengers and things like that. And so, and he went out of his way to sometimes do things like the Avengers. Largo's Lair says Bruce Timm really understood the character. He always had invisibility, but I don't know about intangibility. Maybe, I don't know. I think it was him doing the Vision. I don't, again, invisibility, yes, Largo, but it just seems to me that I probably forgot about it if he did, or they may have did it in some comics that I just didn't read at that time. In the late 90s and early 2000s, I was checked out, at least of DC, and I wasn't touching DC much. But it just feels like the first time I saw him do that was on that cartoon, and I went, how the hell is he doing? What? He can't do that. It's fine. I'm used to it, but I'm just saying. And I'm thinking, well, that's, of course, the Vision does that. And again, this is a guy that loves the Marvel more. He said, other than Superman and Batman, he likes the Marvel characters better, meaning Bruce Timm.
Okay.
He does love Superman and Batman, he says, but which I don't believe him on Superman because he makes Superman too much of a wimp. But he does love Batman, and so and he loves, of course he did a great job on the Justice League cartoon. What I'm saying is, I don't know if the intangibility didn't start on that cartoon or not. And if it didn't, look, with my dumb memory, it's just a brain fart. I could be getting it backwards. I don't remember him being intangible in the comics, but it's maybe he was. But if he was, I don't remember it in the Silver Bronze Age. Like I said, I remember invisibility.
You used to remember seeing in the cartoon, like me, probably, where he had the powers of the Vision, basically, right?
But in the cartoon, he's a lot like the Vision. Yeah. So I don't know. I'll have to look into it, but it's not a big deal. Just curious. It's one of those things that makes you go, So yeah. Well, there you go.
Well, it's all interesting comic book nerd stuff, right? When did this happen and what powers were?
It's comics geek stuff. Yes, sir. So, yeah, he's a great character, though. And he's really well done on that show. Phil Morris does a great job doing the voice on that one. So,
An interesting character, too, right?
The telepathy stuff, they really go crazy. So, he gets hurt a lot, though. So, he's another one, he gets beat up a lot.
When a character can take damage, then it's like Wolverine gets beat up the most, right? Because we're talking telepathically too. Yeah, but he can handle it, right, with his mind powers, or quote unquote handle it.
Yeah. Oliver says, it's no surprise that Martian Manhunter's death in Final Crisis, his dark resurrection in Blackest Night, and Martian Manhunter's return in Brightest Day stories was Jeff Johns' gimmick. Oh well. I don't know. I remember being mad at myself later, but I bought all that Blackest Night, and then I bought Brightest Day, and that was when I stopped. That was when it was before Screw 52. I was so sick of events. I mean, yeah, look, I hate the Screw 52, of course. But before that, it was already kind of like I was reading. I was a big DC reader back in the 2000s. I was pretty much out of Marvel, but I was buying a lot of DC books and liking a lot of them. So there was some pretty good stuff there. And they chased me out with the events, man. Like all of a sudden, everything became a goddamn event. I'm like, for example, what's it? Paul Dini's detective run was real good for a while there, and it felt like Batman the Animated Series. It was him having mostly closed, shorter episodic adventures. He even had the Riddler.
Yep.
Was like the Riddler was like a detective, and it was just interesting things going on with that comic. And even Nightwing by Peter.
Yeah, that was
Tomasi
interesting
was
with Riddler becoming the detective.
It was pretty interesting.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
I like
and
that.
Then they shoved that into the garbage to give that stupid Morrison Batman R.I.P., which I hated. Ugh. Because folks, we got to kill Batman because it's time to kill him. We haven't killed. Who we're going to kill this? Who are we going to kill this year? Who are we going to kill this year so that we can make a bank on it and get it out in the news, and somebody's going to care, baby. And it was Batman's turn, I guess, for some reason. So remember that crap? And like, why is it called Batman R.I.P.? We know he's coming back. Don't even just cut it out.
Yeah, well,
that was
a classic
garbage, man.
gimmick.
I didn't buy that though. I bought a couple at the first. I said, no, I can't do this. And that was the beginning of the end. That up in there, brightest day after Blackest Night seemed like it lasted a year, and it was every time. I bought every title like an idiot.
I did too. Yeah.
Didn't you feel terrible? I hated when I was doing that.
Well, then you're completist, right? Yeah, no, it gets expensive, and then I think I like Brightest Day. Wasn't Brightest Day pretty good? Blackest Night. That was when Blackest Night. That was everyone was zombies, right? Was that?
Yeah, it was
everyone
DC
was coming
zombies.
back from
That's
DC zombies, basically.
Zombies.
Yeah.
And it was. I didn't think it was very. I liked a couple years before that Sinestro Corps War. I liked that one.
Yeah, that was good.
Pretty good.
I mean, he did some great job with the Green Lantern Corps, though. But then, like anything, Corps. I said Corps. Sorry. We streamed too long last night, almost 4 hours. Yeah, my bad. Had too much stuff to do, but
we did a good. Everyone liked it, so good.
Yeah, it was fun. Yep, but
Blackest Night sucked. I hated it. And it got boring, and it was just stretched out. It felt like it went on for a year. Maybe it didn't. Maybe I'm misremembering it now. But it just feels like it was about it. And then right after that, boom, Brightest Daytime. Like what? Didn't we just get through with the damn event?
Yeah, another event. Yeah.
Good Lord.
Well, we talked about that before. We went through all the. I found an article that had all the events, in comics, and I think the 70s weren't there 3 events, and then by the time you got to 2020, there was like 20 events or 30 events a year. Or it's like let's just make everything an event that don't even have individual issues.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I got sick of their. They didn't have any more individual issues. Largos says Martian Manhunter was well done in the Darwin Cooks DC New Frontier. Yes, indeed, it works well in a pulp hero story as a detective. I agree with that absolutely. Matthew Pounder says stop reading DC after Infinite Crisis, grim and gritty cobblers. Yeah, it was. See, I wasn't too big on Infinite Crisis. But it's better than that filthy secret it was Identity Crisis by Brad Meltzer, which I thought was despicable, which was before that. That was one that was too far for me. In fact, that was before I went back to DC. But I read about it, and I read things that went on in it, and I don't know if you'd know what went on in that one, but Identity Crisis was not for me, it was not good. But, yeah, Brightest Day led me to kind of like, so why am I buying all this crap? And so I started cutting it out, And I don't know.
Yeah, just overdoing it too. When you're successful with something, and then you just let's just keep let's get every dollar and cent we can get out of it, and go overboard.
I cut. This was not too long before they announced the Screw 52, and I cut. Hey, Captain James C. Skywalker. I cut way back on some titles. I was buying. Let's see, they had like they kind of did a couple of okay things with Paul Levitz was allowed to bring like an adult version of the Legion that I loved back, the one he'd stopped writing in the 80s, and they did this thing a couple of years previous called the Lightning Saga, which I kind of liked, and then it gave us let us see the Legion that I love, my Legion, the Levitz Legion, even though that was by Johns, but then later. And they had one called Superman and the Legion of Superheroes. They reintroduced them as a more of a like them as time had progressed, but they were an adult version of those same characters. So I bought that. I let because it was real. It was my Legion, even though they were grown up. I'm like, okay. And then Paul,
right? Yeah.
Well, because it was pretty decent. And then they put it in Adventure Comics and brought that back, and they had Paul Levitz writing it for a while. So, I was buying that, but I was starting to drop a lot of stuff. And then when they said that, Screw 52 was going to erase that, he was pretty cool.
Then you get angry. Yeah.
I would write him notes on Facebook. I mean, messages on Facebook, and he would correspond back and forth with me about what was going on with the comic. And it was cool. And then I remember asking him, and I said about the Screw 52 when it was announced. I said, so is this going to affect Legion? Is an Adventure Comics, or is it going to be the same? And he said, well, I can't really say much. I'm like,
yeah.
And
might said, be if I tell you, I'd have to kill you.
Yeah. I said, but so wait a minute. What do you say? I mean, I just said, well, just tell me this, because he'd said it back when there really was a Superboy. He fixed that. Said, so now will there have been a Superboy? And he was saying, he kind of said it but didn't say it, sort of like in a nice way, not really. And said, okay, thanks. All I needed to know. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yep.
And that was that. Hey, Admiral Teague, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Admiral.
Good to see you. Captain Skywalker says we did not get much time to deal with the returns to life and brightest day. Then Screw 52 hits. Yeah, that's true. And I was out. I said, then I'm not buying any more DC vomits anymore because they don't want me around. And I don't want to be around if they don't want me around. So, man, it is 41 votes in, and his lead is not even threatened much at all. I can't believe, man, John Jones is a badass, isn't he?
Yeah. Don't forget the Countdown series you had to buy, too.
I bought, that's another freaking...
Only idiots would buy that.
Not just like that, me. I bought 52.
Remember 52 before.
Wasn't that before Countdown?
Before that Countdown, right? 52,
right. For 1 year, there was 52. I bought them all. I'm going, and every time I would buy, like, why am I buying this? Because I'm reading it. And then I bought Countdown, like you did. I bought every one of 52 of those, right?
Yep.
Each week. How about that, folks? Oh. Did you buy? There was a book called. Did you ever buy Wednesday Comics?
No, they weren't ready till Tuesday. No, what's Wednesday Comics?
You don't remember Wednesday Comics by?
I don't remember. No.
By DC back in the. It was a newspaper. Let's see. Let me find a picture for you. Wednesday Comics. This thing, it was around like 2009 or so. It was a little bit before the Screw 52. It was like a newspaper format where they had comics in it. And I kind of enjoyed it. It was different. I was talking about this the other night with somebody. I forgot who was talking about it with. Let's see. Here's see if you jogs a memory for you.
Let's see. Yep.
I know you probably saw it. It was like a newspaper, so a tabloid format.
And what year was that out around?
Around like 2009. Went on for a couple of years, I think.
Well, it's definitely in the comic book store then. So
they had a dead man. So they had green left. I still have mine somewhere, I think. I don't know how long this lasted. I can't remember. 1 through 12, right there. So there was like it was again folded out like a newspaper.
You know, I'm not remembering that. But probably, if it was in the comic book shop, I would have seen it.
Yeah.
Was it cheap or was it expensive or was it?
What was the cover price on that thing? Let's see. I think you see the cover price on there. It was
and unfolded kind of like the comic shop news.
except it was a sturdier format. But yeah, it was bigger. I can't remember the cover price on that. That happens when you were a completist. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah.
You don't remember this?
I don't remember that. Well,
Yeah.
only 12 issues too, right? So
Was that? It
not
was only
remembering
12 of
that.
them. Yeah. Didn't last long. Yeah, but I bought them all.
Maybe the shop didn't carry them, or just not
Yeah.
remembering them. Yeah, it doesn't jog a memory. Garbage
I
memory.
can't remember how many there was. Did it say only 12? There's one
Uh,
folded out like that. See?
Let me see. Let me look at my comic book program here. Let's see. Or Irredeemable Ant-Man came up in my program. Oh, this awesome.
Yay.
That would be a movie to make.
That should be made.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, Countdown was a
Wednesday.
pain in the ass there, Captain. No question about it, sir. So does anybody remember this one? I forgot who I was talking with about this the other night with. I can't remember who it was now.
Let's see. Yep, only 12 issues.
Only 12? Okay.
2009 weekly comic sensation that USA Today called Cool Classic Looking, featuring composite cover art. The Wednesday comic series includes Adam Strange, Batman, Metamorpho, Deadman. It's just the summary of it. Yep.
Yeah.
God, I'm not remembering it. Well, they're not that expensive now. They're saying they're worth around $4
Oh, they ain't worth
each.
anything, yeah. They're not worth
Yeah,
it.
not worth anything. Yeah.
I just thought it was a novelty.
No, it's interesting. Yeah, seeing you said your memory's garbage.
It is.
Come on.
Only reason I thought of it now is because the other night, somewhere we were talking about, I forgot where it was, or who I was talking to about it. And I thought I figured I wanted to mention it tonight because it's the comic night to mention that. And I was going to mention it to you when I saw you again, I guess. But I don't remember if it was on this show the other night when I was talking about it. It may have been on this show when I was talking about it Wednesday night. And I just forgot already.
Did it fold up to a comic book?
It was a big ass.
So it wouldn't fit in your comic book box, right?
Oh no.
If you fold it up, yeah, no.
No, it was a bigger format.
It's supposed to be kind of like a newspaper.
It was supposed to feel like one of those,
Yeah.
So
old school newspaper.
I probably have mine still somewhere. But I was talking either if it wasn't on the show the other night, and I was showing it where I might have done that. And I just forgot. It might have been like Wednesday night when I was talking about it, but I can't remember. But you were not here, so I decided. Yeah, I think I showed it the other night.
I was probably out drinking. Yep.
That's right. Wagner, what's up, buddy? He said he mentioned it the other night because we found a trade of it. He found they have a trade of it, and then I showed it. Thank you, Gwag. See, I do have a garbage memory after all. Gwag, I forgot that it was who it was and everything, but Gwag handled that for me. So appreciate you there,
Gwag. Wagner. Yeah, showing a hardcover. Hardcover's $47 now. Value. Yep. That must have been an expensive book because it's big. Yeah, too. So
if he hadn't reminded me, right, I would have forgot about it completely without Wagner. So yeah, it's just one of those weird things. I bought them because I was buying everything back then, I guess. But I thought that was kind of a cool idea, That was an interesting format.
No, I've never seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. Good old Wagner came up with it though. But
good call. Yep.
I let Countdown and 52 both of them pile up without reading them.
And then you never catch up, right?
I think I never caught up on them. I don't know if I think maybe I caught up on one of them, but I remember it was just I used to let comics pile up when I was buying them. When I was buying a lot of titles a month, I had that I think everybody probably had that problem. Maybe not everybody, but did you have the problem where you just get stacked up way too high and you go, oh God, I'm never going to read all these.
I hate it when that happens.
I'm not going to read all these, but I did. You managed to get up to chop out big, but if I had the certain titles that I wouldn't let go past a week or even a day.
Well, Walking Dead I always read.
Yeah.
As soon as that came out, boom, top of the pile, Walking Dead.
Yeah. We used to do, that and Invincible. When I would get that or Invincible, my son, we'd fight over who got to read it first. And whoever got whoever got to read it first, like Walking Dead, would bring it into the room and look like not like, here you go. It'd be like,
yeah.
But holy shit. Because it was shock writing.
Yeah, it
Kirkman
was. Yeah.
was a shock writer on Walking Dead. Which is good. You're supposed to make people want to come back the next week. I get it, but it was fun. Hey, Sean Carter, good to see you, buddy.
Hey, Sean Carter.
It's fun. You're kind of supposed to. The fun of comics is to be, shocked and want to come back. So there was something horrible. It'd be like just something, not much, not much, and then the last few pages, something horrible would happen. You're like, oh wow.
Oh, especially Walking Dead. God.
Yes.
I mean, stuff that happened to the characters and Rick getting his hand. Oh, well, minor. I mean, the comic's been out since. Rick losing his hand. Yeah.
I'll never forget. Because it was my buddy Ace Cassar that got me reading the freaking comic, that and Invincible, right? So for years we were on Facebook a lot, and one night it was right before I knew he didn't have to say what it was talking about because I knew it because it was before I read the new issue, and I figured he was getting it right. He posted on his page, Robert Kirkman, you disgust me. I'm like, oh crap! Somebody read the new issue of Walking Dead. Oh no! And I think I don't even want to say what it was, although it happened in the show too. I think. Well, what the hell? I think it might have been the one. I'm drawing a blank now. I think it might be the one when he shot Carl in the head, and we thought Carl was dead or something.
Yeah. And he lost his eye, and then he. Well, they did have that in the show too, right? I don't know if you watched the show.
Yeah, I didn't watch the show.
They did have
I heard about it.
Carl got, and the other, of course, everyone speculated they didn't have Rick on the TV show lose his hand just because it's,
right.
Then it's
Rick
too much
That would
money
have been too annoying
for the actor, yeah, because then you've always got to cover that up.
I heard he regretted him losing his hand in the comic.
Oh, he did, yeah.
They finally don't make the comic anymore, do they?
No,
I stopped around issue issue 90 or something or whatever.
129, I think, was the last issue, or 130, whatever it was. It was they solicited actually a couple of fake issues to trick everyone. It was actually kind of cool. And then you got to say the guy did end the series at least, so where he wanted to, because you could have kept that going. That was probably was that the best selling comic for a long time, or
it was for a while there. Hey,
right?
Captain Infinity and Beyond. What's up, buddy? Whatever happened to Firestorm? Don't know.
He traveled back in time somewhere, didn't it? No, just kidding.
I think he went back in time. There you go, Mr. Troublemaker. I don't know what happened to Firestorm. What happened to him? Something happened? I haven't talked to him lately. But I don't know. I hear he's doing well. Actually, he was ruined. What am I saying? He was ruined by the idiots.
Wasn't he on
when they got rid of
Legends?
He was, they got rid of Ronnie Raymond and they ruined my Firestorm there. And now that you remind me of that, Cap. Yeah. So yeah, I used to love Firestorm, even though
interesting.
He was just an attempt to rip off Nova, but that's only fair because Nova was an attempt to rip off Spider-Man, and Green Lantern.
Right.
So what are you going to do, right? They ripped themselves off. But he was a crazy concept. Huh?
Yeah, with the two people merge together, Yeah,
but I loved him.
Yeah. And the CW, when they had him, like his powers were too expensive. So, he's such a powerful character. It's like they barely, or they always had them separated or not, they didn't change, or they do find like a silly way to not have the character, use his powers.
Except Nova had the Condor. Didn't Firestorm become it? Yes, I think he did, but I think that was the Ostrander run, if I'm not mistaken, Glagnarwood. I dumped out of that book, but I remember how I told you how back in the 80s, in the 90s, a woman was dumb enough to marry me. And,
yeah, you told me that. I heard about that.
We met at a Geek Con, so she did read comics, just not as many as I did, but she read comics I didn't. So in addition to me having to get my comics, I don't think she may have read some of mine also, but she had ones she read that I would not touch. I didn't want to read.
Yeah.
Like anything, it was post-crisis Superman crap. I don't want to read that. She loved Superman so much she didn't care about that kind of. So I had to pick up in my indignity of indignities. I had to buy the burn and post-crisis garbage. And let's see, she bought DC stuff. She loved Firestorm. She didn't care how bad it got. I would have dumped the book a long time ago like a hot potato, but she had to read Firestorm. Oh, and Starman. Here's how weird it was. Yeah, by the way, bless her heart. I'm just saying, there was that TV show Starman based on the movie.
Yep.
She loved that show, which is fine. But the DC Starman comic was different. At that time, it wasn't even based on the Starman from the Golden Age or the Silver Age when the Bronze Age, when this was a completely 80s one, and he wasn't even the one later. There was a Starman run in the 80s. Basically, that she made me get that for her. I don't know why. But she bought Firestorm, even though it turned into gobbledygook with a shitty new costume at some point.
Well, sometimes people just like a character and they'll take any iteration they can get too, right? I mean,
don't defend her. She liked crap. She had crappy taste. She married me. Of course, she had crappy taste. I was more Marvel in the early 1980s, but I liked Firestorm, also Blue Beetle. Captain Infinity, I like them both as well. I love me some Firestorm. And, of course, Zatanna, but, hey, where's her movie trilogy? Well, if I had my way, it would be all in the can, sir. I would be writing them. I should write the Zatanna movies. Me. Or maybe Paul Dini, because he's got a thing for her as well. He writes her stories pretty well. So yeah, exactly, Matthew Pounder, the mullet, the Will Pyle or whatever his name is, or whatever, the Starman comic. She liked that book for some reason. I don't understand it. So, my friend, like when my friend Carlos would come over, whatever, we would make fun of the comic she was reading. Shut up! At least she was a wife reading comics. That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, that's unusual.
She loved geek stuff. We watched Doctor Who, all that stuff. We met at a geek con. That's why both of my kids are geeks. But it's just that I was an a-hole, and if she read comics I didn't like, I was going to be a dickweed about it, And Blunt Villy Reviews, hello there. Good to see you, my friend. So we made fun of we made fun of some of the stuff she read, but she read Firestorm to the end, and even when they changed his costume, remember that crappy costume Firestorm had at the end of his second run, technically. Anybody remember that gonorrhea costume? Why would he's got such a cool costume? Let's see here. Let's see if I can find it. Firestorm. Fire. Let me see if I can find Firestorm's second costume. You don't remember that?
I probably, if you show it, I'll probably remember it. I remember the original costume. That was a big deal on that. When did he come out? The 70s Firestorm, or was he earlier?
Late 70s. He had
late 70s, I thought.
Jerry Conway, Al Milgrom. They had a run that lasted maybe like 5 issues, and then it was gone. Then they came back in the 80s and revived it with the Fury of Firestorm series. And that lasted a while. But the original series didn't last that too long. All right, so see if they have that stupid later costume. Because he's got a cool costume. Except for this guy. That's a good cosplayer. Firestorm cosplayer. Look at that.
Not bad, yeah.
Look at that dude.
Hair's on fire.
The hell's this guy? That's a crappy one right there. But there was one he had in particular in the... That's a good one. That's the best one. I'm trying to find that... what's that dopey one he had later in the... There's his first issue.
Yep, I remember that. Yep. I don't think I have that. I just remember when it came out. So,
this is. I thought this was it here. I always love his costume though. Except that, and then they change. Oh, this one. Remember this one? I think this is the one.
Oh, it looks kind of like.
Yeah, that's Suckles. Matthew Pounder. Hey, Matthew Pounder, is this the one I'm thinking of? Later in the series, Fury Firestorm, that they changed his costume. I think that's it. That suckles. That bites. Why would you do? I'll find it. I want to make sure that's it because I mean, why would you do that? Seriously, why would you change such a good costume?
Because people always want to make changes, right? So,
yeah, I guess. Let's see here. Fury of Firestorm. All right, because it was down the road. It was later that they did that. Let's see if I can find one with it. Maybe they changed it back. Well, then they changed it back later, but I mean, they must have changed it back. Maybe DC said, "Look, everyone hates this costume, jerks."
Go back, yeah.
Yeah. See.
Well, that costume's easy to draw, maybe. I don't know.
But I think that's the one. Yes, that's the Firestorm Elemental version. Yeah, that's okay. So I guess it didn't hang around. It wasn't around long, fortunately. But it suckles. So things that suckle. Yeah, cool costume though. Cool character until they ruined him. I'm sorry. I know that makes me a monster, but I don't like him. I don't like what they did with him. I mean, I like Ryan Raymond. Well, look at that. What the hell's that? Crisis on Infinite Firestorms. Yeah. Then they did something weird. I don't know if this was in comics, but I like the puffy shirt too. Yeah, you like Tom Mandrake? I know Hungry Boy's not here. He would not like me going off to Tom Mandrake. Matthew Pounder, I like Tom Mandrake okay, but he wasn't really my favorite. Don't tell Hungry Boy on me though. He liked him. Maybe he is Tom Mandrake. That was the time DC was into their elementals. Red Tornado was their air elemental, yeah, and then Swamp Thing was their other air elemental. DVB, hello there. And Keely Chow, roll tide, my friend.
Hey, Keely.
He says he voted for Green Lantern. Well, if I'm not allowed to vote, but that's who I would have voted for. But it looks like he's going to lose. Looks like they're all going to lose big time. Yep. Crazy. So there's the first issue. And it came out just like maybe like a year after Nova had hit it big, I guess, year or two, whatever. And you only had 5 issues, and then it went out with the DC implosion. Are you familiar with the DC implosion? I've told you about it before, I'm sure.
Yeah, so. Well, that after Final Crisis or after?
Oh no, from the 70s.
No, let me jog my bad memory.
Well, in the mid 70s or so, before I think right around the Jeanette Kahn came around to took over at DC. They were floundering in a lot of sales areas, different things like that. Well, right before that, they had planned, and it's a long story. It's a very complicated. I'm going to go basically just in a nutshell. Hey, JD Lewis, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. DC had announced tons and tons of titles. And you can see these ads. You might, if you ever look at old comic books, the DC Explosion, and they had all these titles lined up, ready to go. They were proud of them too. They were announcing them all over the place. And some of them saw the light of day, but not all. And then it's just, Marvel was flooding the market with a lot of reprints. The rack space was at a premium because remember, this is when there was an actual thriving, healthy comic book industry. Yeah. So there was actual competition.
It sell hundreds of thousands of issues, per title, right?
But that doesn't mean that they didn't make mistakes and that they didn't have, sales problems and thinking like that.
Yeah.
So eventually, what happened was, and it's such a long story. and it's such an amazing. It's I guess only if you're into the comic history stuff like I am. There's a book that came out about 4 or 5 years ago that I've read. It's called from my TwoMorrows people called the DC Comics Implosion. They had what you call an implosion, which means all these titles just nothing was selling, so they panicked and they canceled a bunch of titles. And that's why you got so many titles from the 70s and the mid 70s that only lasted a few months and got canceled. Good night, D-Bud. Have a good one, buddy.
Take care, D-Bud.
And so some of them were. Firestorm was a victim of that, and some of those comics were compiled in these. If you ever hear these things, like they used to put it in the price guides all the time, something called Canceled Comics Cavalcade. There are these 2 editions, which it's kind of misleading because you can't. They're never legally released, but they're these 2. I mean, they're fairly rare of all the comics, and they're basically a compilation of all the comics that were canceled in the implosion that never saw the light of day. You could probably find them. I don't know if you could find them on your collector app, but that would be interesting if you could. And so the few people who have a copy of Canceled Comics Cavalcade, now, oh God, I don't even know what that would be worth now.
Oh my God, I'll look it up. Yep.
Look up if you. Yeah, it'd be interesting if you could find
Canceled Comics
Cavalcade.
Cavalcade. Let me check it out. Yep.
I'm sure D-Bud had a copy of that. Just kidding, D-Bud. None of us did. But there are people who have them though. And there were issues like there was a Vixen series, the character Vixen who came out later. She was going to have a series in that got canceled. There were like I said, there were a bunch of titles that didn't see the light of day, and a lot of them that got canceled at issue 4, issue 3, issue 5. Firestorm lasted 5 issues, but it was a mess, and it was a big, just inside political blow up. I mean, inside politics of the office politics at DC.
Yep.
So,
yeah, because then once someone, introduces, have their regime and they come in and they change things and it doesn't go well, then the knives come out, right?
Yep.
So Canceled Comics or maybe it's Comics Cavalcade.
Cavalcade. Canceled Comics Cavalcade.
Let's see. I'm not seeing that. Sometimes these titles have weird, they have weird, the way they name comics, sometimes it's tough to find them. Yeah. Let's see. Cancel.
Let's see here. So here's comics. One of the many ads for DC, the DC Explosion. Remember these ads?
Okay.
Look at all these comics that and some of them did come out now. The DC Explosion. Look at that one. The DC Explosion.
Yeah.
Most exciting superheroes in comics. Yeah. Oh man, they were ready to go too. Well, there's a Canceled Comics Cavalcade picture right there. It's got
the X-File. Yeah.
Yeah. DC Explosion. The DC Explosion. The DC Explosion. The DC Explosion. Comics. Wow. There we go.
Yes, they call it Volume 1, I guess. Yeah, limited series, total issues 2. I found it on the wiki, but not on my comic book program. I'm wondering if they call it something different. Let me go to the.
And then, so you have these ads here that you see at all these. Forever, we've seen these ads in DC Comics. Look at that. Hey, stamps. DC stamps. But then TwoMorrows did this book, which I love. I mean, I remember they sent me an advanced copy way back when. It was pretty cool. About the comic book implosion and the horror history of the DC circa 1978. That's when the Firestorm came around and disappeared. But it's like I said, it's pretty interesting story. Well, interesting if you're into comic geek history stuff.
History, right?
Yeah.
Well, they said the blizzard of 77 and 78 didn't help the sales either, right? I don't know how much I'd put into that, but yeah, there was a big blizzard up in the Northeast in 78. Yeah, I remember we used to get a lot of snow back in the 70s. Yeah.
Yep. Yes, indeed. So
quite a few books canceled. Wow, look at that. I'll put
Yep.
the link in the chat. Yep.
Oh, you got pics or? Yeah.
Well, here I can. I can show the.
All right, hang on a
Yeah,
second.
let me show the picture. Yeah, let me just
News watch the DC
bring this
implosions.
over. Yeah.
Let me get rid of this here. Go ahead. So yeah, DC was on some bad times in 1978.
Here's the
Canceled
Comic
Comics
Cavalcade.
Cavalcade. I think, does this mention all the comics that were in there?
Yep. So I'll scroll down. Yep. So then here's All Star Comics.
All-Star Comics. Yep.
And I guess the last publishers did it. Wow. That's a lot to get canceled. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, those are the titles that got canceled.
Yeah.
Those are the canceled titles and their last comics issue. So
Miracle
a lot
Man,
of titles.
New Gods. Secret Society of Supervillains. That was fun to read. Well,
Yeah,
Star
that
Hunters
one got
number
canceled.
7. I think I have Star Hunters number 7.
Oh, by the way, when it comes to Secret Society of Supervillains, they finally got a chance to fix that and finish that and put it in. I think there's a trade, and a buddy of mine helped worked on that one. They got to finish that after like a way back number, you might 20-something years ago now, whatever it was, because it was left at, I went back and read a couple of those first issues. Yeah, I need to go reread all that. DVB back then, they just had a big crunch. They were DC was really mismanaged it when it comes to overestimated themselves with all these titles, because right at that point, Marvel was just really killing them, and they were trying to recapture the marketplace, the rack, and they just took a chance. They gambled in a lot of books and they lost, because the ones that got canceled, they weren't the big guns. There were a lot of them were risked, and people, I don't know. They just
like the Steel book. I remember reading this or buying this when it first came out. Yeah, I remember buying that. Yeah, but the tagline "Steel, the indestructible man." I'm like, oh, that's going to be cool. Man of Steel.
Yep.
Then
the art's inside.
I have a couple of issues of this, or it only lasted 5 issues, but it was a big deal when it came. I don't know if I'm saying it the right way, but big deal. But people were talking about it, like, oh, maybe we'll buy that. That's it'll be interesting, right? A new character.
There you go.
Superman
and
family.
But the thing is, another thing, DVB is the story is very, very convoluted and complicated. So that's why they wrote that book about it, because everyone's always wondered why this happened. And until like 2018, when that book that I just showed you came out, no one really knew the full story. We knew about canceled Comics Cavalcade. We knew that books fell flat because they had a lot of lousy art in them. But that tells a lot longer version of the story. It's been a few years since I've read it, but it's very convoluted. It's a very complicated thing that happened. But hey, welcome back, Cotter.
That got canceled too, right?
Everything got canceled. Yeah. That went a long time though, at least. Your dreams were your ticket. But look at all those titles, though.
And he ended up in Ant-Man too, so he's part of the Marvel universe. Yeah.
You should have had Gabe Kaplan in Ant-Man.
God, that'd been great.
Look at all these titles that get canceled, though.
What was Showcase?
Showcase has been running since like the 50s, but then now they revived it for a while. It's just like an anthology book.
Yeah, and the New Gods number 19.
Return of the New Gods at this point.
Yep.
Kirby disavowed those non-Kirby issues of New Gods.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember reading
Orion looked terrible.
I remember reading the New Gods for the first time. That was really cool.
Costume sucks. Yeah.
ISIS.
Battle Classics. ISIS.
Last issue, number 8. Yep.
Yeah. Any issue that didn't see the newsstand got put in Canceled Comics Cavalcade. I don't know how
Yeah, so
big that thing is.
that's a
I've never
bloodbath.
seen
Yeah.
one. I'd love to see one. I would love to see a Cancel Comics Cavalcade.
Yeah, I think I had it right. Yeah, here's
There are only 2 of them, but how big
two of
must
them.
those books be?
Let's see if I click on number 1.
Let's say what's
Still
in it.
10 cents no ahead.
Yeah, that did that as a joke.
Here they got all the. Must have been a huge book though, right? To have that many stories in it, right? If it's containing,
Think so. I don't know.
or maybe it's a synopsis. Maybe it's just a
Yeah.
synopsis. Maybe it's not the full book. But
No,
just,
it's the comic. I'm pretty sure.
what would have synopsis for green?
Those are the unfinished story. I mean, the stories. I guess they were finished. Synopsis on some of them.
Because they're
Okay,
telling
some
you
of them
what,
weren't finished. Yeah.
maybe some weren't finished yet. Or they just give you
No,
story notes of what's going to happen. I guess. Yeah.
But some of them, they had. I mean, some of them were the stories were done. Some weren't. I know that much because I mean, there was a lot of incomplete stuff in there. So yeah, but I think some were complete. Again, I've never look at one.
Yeah.
But I do. I've seen pages from time to time. I like all these crazy covers people like colored for them and everything. And I've seen pages here and there. I've seen various times like they've got
Unemployment Inc.
Vixen pages.
75 rock positive steel.
A lot of people's heads rolling in that one. That's a little comic cavalcade.
Heritage auctions.
Oh yes, some of the art from that's big time money.
Wow, yeah.
Original art's you know how crazy money that is.
Yeah, I wish I bought original art when I was chill. Of course, that's what.
Yeah, look at Vixen.
Yeah, because you'd be at the shows and you'd art, $30, $50. I mean, it was expensive, relatively expensive, but it wasn't 400,000. It was $400 sometimes, or $40, or it was a cover would be expensive, but yeah, it's.
Thank you for that. Appreciate the kind words there, DVB. Thank you for appreciate it. So there's my book there. I love this book. I gotta go reread this though. It was pretty. I mean, it was really dense and fascinating, telling all the crap that went on. But it was not like a fancy book or anything. But I love TwoMorrows. Yes, sir. And it's sad times for the DC people.
Yep. Yeah. Post DC implosion. Yeah. Yeah. Of course, Superman and Batman. Yeah. So it's really trimmed down. Yeah.
Look how few titles there are now. All the big names, right? For the most part.
Yep. World War Tales is still there. Sergeant Rock, Super Friends. Yeah. Well, because in the 70s too, everyone was watching the Super Friends cartoon. Was massive. It was Saturday morning. You couldn't wait to watch that.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
that had to help their sales too.
Streamlined right there. And yes, Wagner, that is correct, sir. They did publish it so they can retain the copy because you got to publish it. So that's why it's published. That's why they did that, so they could keep copyright on all that art and stuff.
Oh, because then the artist could.
They had to publish it in some way. You had to do something because, yeah.
Because then the artists get it, I guess, or how does that? I don't know. Yeah.
They just keep anybody else.
They just publish it.
Like someone buys that original art. They want to see. I guess it was a CYA thing at the time. Paul
Kupperberg.
He worked on a lot of that stuff. Yeah.
I could have talked to him about that.
that.
Yeah, I did the grunt work, summoned all the material from the various editors, arranging it all, and dealing directly with the printing. Printing and binding itself was done at Warner Brothers Print Shop, which is in the basement, 75 Rock. It was composed of Xerox copies between heavy blue papers, glued, squared spine, held together by a strip of black binding tape. We went crazy and commissioned covers from Alex Savick and Al Milgram. Everyone gets hit by a truck, but then they work for free to be in the Joker, get a copy. Like I said, we did this cheap. It wasn't made to last. It's meant to be sent to the copyright office. Yeah, so 100%.
How many copies exist, though?
Let's see. Yeah. 1 copy was reserved for the DC Library, 2 for the Library of Congress. So Saul got a copy, Jeanette Kahn, myself. So Kupperberg has a copy. A few other staffers.
35.
Yeah.
Oh, it says it printed 40, though.
You can probably figure out who got table. And 1 copy went to Bob Overstreet. Yeah, we count 35 copy. Yep. The 40 legitimate copies.
Well,
Wow. God, I would love to ask him about that. Yeah.
yeah. There you go. If you ever see him again.
Yeah. Well, that shop is closed because I used to see him
Oh.
I used to see him every week, basically,
Oh,
for
really?
years. Yeah. Because we'd.
So he's got a copy. So can I see your copy and photocopy it?
Well, that's why it's not. I guess it's yeah. Well, that's why it's not in the comic book. It's not in my comic base. I gotta
No, because none of them put them
send it
out
to the
there.
guy.
Yeah. Well,
Well, I
like I said,
guess
no
it was
one's
never for
ever.
sale.
No, it
It
was
was
never for
just
sale.
given.
Well, no, it wasn't because
It was just given to people.
but it was
Yeah.
published, so to speak.
Yeah. So
But
I
yeah,
gotta
right.
tell.
But I knew, like I say, I knew there were very scant few copies. But I'm saying they exist, so I know. Like, I know. Forgot who it was now. A friend of mine got to see somebody's copy, and if there anybody who had a
Okay.
copy worked at DC, but I can't remember who it was. God.
Yeah.
One of
How
my
can I
buddies
get
who
a
worked
copy?
one of my friends that worked at DC said he got to see one somewhere. He was at one of their houses. I don't know.
Got to see it. Yeah.
That's been years ago. So I don't know which one it was now. But I'm like, wow, that'd be fun just to see it once. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So they. So they said, yeah, you get it. No, DC staffer wants to sell it. Yep.
Comic Explosion has an index of the stories.
I'll include the cover of Unpublished Ragman number 6. Huh.
By Joe Kubert, probably. Maybe not. Maybe.
Oh, an unpublished, discovered unpublished Jack Kirby story. Intended to be used for Commanding number 61. Yep.
Yep.
Interesting. Yeah. Wow. That's very cool. Hey, we put that link in the chat if people want it. Yeah. So that's great to great to read about. Yeah.
I remember when that book came out, they were nice enough to I ordered it, and I've been ordered a bunch of stuff, different stuff from them, and I got, for some reason, asked me, can we send you an early copy if you want to read it for us? Sure. So I did. It was really cool. Because this book from TwoMorrows, that book there, I was always interested in that sort of thing, and I remember when I got it.
Yep.
Very nice of them. Dan
Cool,
Greenfield.
Yeah.
Greenfield has a cool blog. I like Dan Greenfield's blog. That's one of the best. I don't know if you've ever seen. He's always got good stuff on there.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Well, I tell you what, everybody, we kept you here long enough. Unless you got anything comics-wise to discuss.
Nope. Go buy Micronauts. Just kidding.
Yeah, do that.
I wish they still made good Micronauts comics. Yep.
We wish. Let's see here. Let me take a look at our panel. What the hell?
Yeah, close that poll. Yeah.
All right. Okay, poll time, folks. Let me close the sucker. All right. Okay, folks. The question was, of course, which of these green heroes, because it's March, get it, would you like for me to choose for a random story review this month? And in whoa, boy, it closed quick. You notice how Hulk almost leaped back into it? But the winner is in first place at 35%, John Jones, the Martian Manhunter. And in second place, good night, Chris Persia. Thank you, buddy, for being here.
Night, Chris.
The Incredible Edible Hulk at 31%. And then, sadly, the one I would have voted for, Green Lantern as in Hal Jordan, 20% in third place. And in their poor old Ollie Queen, Green Arrow, at 12%. But I thank everybody for voting. That is just too cool for school. Thank you for that. And thank you for being here tonight. Show notes, nothing particular other than if Mark has something. What you got going on?
Well, Toxic Tuesday tomorrow. So John Wick number 2. Yep. So make sure to watch that tomorrow night. And of course, I've always got videos. I'll try to do a video a day on my action figures. So we had Hulk versus Iron Man Hulkbuster today. Just a quick short. So
cool.
Yeah.
Please go to Mark's page. Put your link in there.
I shall put the link in there.
And well, there you go. And let's see, Tuesdays and Wednesday nights, as always, at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm over there at the great Midnight's Edge After Dark with Tom and that August group, talking geekness and what's going on in the geek worlds. 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on Wednesday night. I'll be on with Loki's great channel, my good buddy Loki, for the comic book roundtable. And so we're looking forward to that. And then let's see here. Wednesday night, it'll be Wildcard Wednesday night right back here on my channel, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then Thursday night, same time again, 9 p.m. with Raquel and Mark for the Clubhouse. And then Friday night, 8:30 Central on the great Nick Weiser's channel. The Friday Night Comic Shop gang reassembles. This time with part 2 of our Rocketeer, Dave Stevens Rocketeer comic review. And then Saturday night, Star Trek returns as always. Oh, it didn't go anywhere, actually. 4 more reviews of Deep Space Nine episodes. So, and then, of course, it will close it all out and start all over again with Sunday Night Geekery on Mark's channel, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And thank you for that,
sure,
DVB.
yep.
DVB, subscribe to you.
Oh, awesome. Much appreciated.
Thank you kindly.
Thank you very much. Yep.
Yeah. So that's
always love to hear that. Yep. Well, I
indeed.
do have one clip that we can play. It's a 8-second one. No clipping. Well, I'll play it for you after, but it's. I
don't want to take any chances. I mean,
all right.
What is? Are you sure? I mean,
well, it's a 8-second one. It's Scotty and it's green, but we can. I can.
If you got it, load it up.
Yeah, here. Let me. I thought it would be fun for tonight. It's a quick. Should be safe. So
I hope so.
Let's see.
If you think so.
Yeah, it's because it's so short. So, plus I put the thing over it. So let's see here. There we go. That's it. I just clipped it as we were talking. So, and it's almost St. Patrick's Day,
What's it got to
right?
do with comic books?
Well, it's green.
Hey, Des.
It is green.
It's green. I love it.
It's green.
Thanks. Oh, nothing to do with comics, but we'll allow it.
Yeah, we'll allow it, right?
Thanks. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all everyone for being here with us tonight. And hey, just have a great week, huh? And I know we got through a Monday at least. And again, big shout out, of course, to the great Mark C. We'll always miss him, and shout out to his family. Thank you, everybody, and have an extraordinary week. Good night.
Get those nerds! 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 What?
I just love clobbering time.